We live in a world obsessed with productivity. Optimized workflows, morning routines, habit tracking, systems for systems, and for a while I was the poster child for all of it. Every morning I woke up at 5:30 a.m. sharp, rolled out of bed straight into a mindfulness practice to begin the day, then a workout, an ice bath, journaling, a morning assessment, vitamins, and light therapy. Sometimes all at once. I was basically one smoothie away from becoming a walking Huberman Lab episode. Before I sat down to work, I made a cup of coffee, in slow motion, obviously, because what's the point of being productive if you don't look cinematic doing it? I tracked everything: reps, minutes in the ice bath, tasks completed per day, net worth, sleep quality, micronutrients, 3 different dashboards and 3 different calendars to keep it all in check. By 8 a.m., I had already accomplished more than most people did by lunch, and I was exhausted. But hey, at least my cortisol levels were optimized. This is the productivity trap nobody talks about. When you become so efficient that you end up with more to do. You become a faster hamster on the same wheel, and for years I thought that was progress. Turns out I was just spinning in circles. Up until last year, I was running 2 companies while still working a full-time job. 6-figure salary, $1.7 million in equity. On paper, it looked like I was killing it. In reality, I was slowly killing myself. My days were an endless loop of meetings, projects, emails, and travel. I had so many tabs open in my brain I could feel my RAM overheating. But I told myself this was ambition. That juggling 47 things at once was a badge of honor. In truth, I was just optimizing myself into oblivion. The more efficient I became, the busier I got, the more I convinced myself I was being productive. But what I really was distracted. I'd built this elaborate life dashboard, tracking everything from steps to savings, and somehow I forgot to track how I actually felt. I thought I was hacking life, but really I was just building a more efficient hamster wheel. There was also this weird thing I would do when people asked how I was doing. Most people would say, "Good, how about you?" But not me. I'd give them a PowerPoint presentation, a full rundown of every project, every meeting, every side hustle, like busyness was some kind of TED Talk on self-worth. And the more chaotic my life sounded, the prouder I felt, like I was winning some imaginary productivity Olympics. But every day felt like a sprint that never ended. By the weekend, I'd be burnt out, trying to cram in leftover work from the week, just to recharge enough to do it all over again. I was burning so much rubber it looked like my daughter's underwear after a nap, but I wasn't gaining any traction. If anything, the busyness kept me distracted just long enough to avoid thinking, to avoid feeling, to avoid facing the fact that maybe I wasn't actually moving forward. I was juggling so many things that by the time I filled my hands with all the grocery bags in one trip, I didn't have room left to carry the most important, fragile ones like the eggs. And those were the things that actually mattered. My family, my health, my peace of mind. We've turned productivity into a form of self-worth. A religion where busyness is worship and rest is sin. We measure our value by how much we can squeeze into a single day, how early we wake up, how many tasks we check off, how few emails are in our inbox, but the moment you finish your to-do list, someone just sends you more to do. In his book 4,000 Weeks, author Oliver Burkeman said it best. The world is bursting with things we could be doing, so efficiency just lets us fit more of them in. And he's right. We think being productive will give us freedom, but instead it just fills the space we cleared, like cleaning your house only to realize you just made more room for more shit you don't need. We keep optimizing for speed, not meaning. We spend hours color-coding our calendars when we could just do the thing. And worst of all, we use productivity as a distraction. It feels like progress, but really it's procrastination with better branding. For years, I thought the answer was to optimize even harder, To find the perfect system, the best tools and apps, the most efficient workflow, which is ironic because I once spent 3 hours optimizing my morning routine just to save 15 minutes of actual work. When I finally left my job and stopped chasing metrics like they were oxygen, I actually got more done. Not because I was working faster, but because I was finally working on what mattered. I didn't need a new system, I needed a pause. Time to ask, why am I doing all this? That's when I stumbled across Cal Newport's slow productivity. The idea is simple. Do fewer things at a more natural pace with obsessive focus on quality. Basically the opposite of how most of us live. I started to cut out the noise, deleted half the tools I used, stopped tracking meaningless stats, and for the first time in years I felt creative again. If you feel like you're sprinting on a treadmill that won't stop, here's what helped me. Audit your productivity. Ask yourself, what are you optimizing and why? If you don't know, you're probably optimizing the wrong thing. Stop tracking things that don't matter. You don't need 14 habit trackers, you just need to show up. Do fewer things slower. Quality compounds over time, speed burns out. Redefine success. It's not about how much you do, it's about how much you care about what you do. And remember, you don't need a 47-step morning routine, you just need coffee and a reason to get out of bed. We think the answer to feeling behind is to move faster. But if you're running in the wrong direction, speed doesn't help. It just gets you lost quicker. We don't need to optimize our lives like machines. AI is already doing that for us. We need to live them like humans. Because productivity isn't about doing more, it's about creating space for the things that matter. So maybe instead of asking, how can I be more productive, try asking, what can I let go of? Because freedom doesn't come from doing everything efficiently, it comes from realizing not everything needs to be done. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go delete 3 dashboards and take a very unproductive nap.